think we have a problem.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Droid Pit podcast. In this episode, we will discuss list building, especially towards the Hotshots and Aces packs or pack, where we will have a short ranking of the pilots. Where do we think they are on a scale from S to D tier? I am Dab from the TX2PO team or Legacy team, and with me is my co-host SogeMoge. And
Hey pilots. Yeah, actually it's the second Hotshots and Aces pack. The first one was a while ago.
Yeah,
and since the second pack came like how long? How long ago?
More than 1 year.
The second one.
The second one. Oh, I thought you meant the first. The second, several months.
Yeah, and I've played only 1 or 2 pilots from that pack since then, and I'm still excited for this.
Yeah, I've played actually, I think 4 to 5 pilots from these. Yeah, and I'm definitely want to try them out more. Not just from the factions we were going through today, but in general.
Yeah, I still waiting to lay my hands on the pack itself in flesh, because by now it's only in TTS that I'm playing. So we have 2 factions for today. It's Confederacy of Independent Systems and Great Army of Republic. And the pack has 5 pilots for each of them. Actually, it's 7 for CIS because there's 3 dots pilot.
Yep.
And we'll do like the ranking that you might see from other podcasts or even other game systems. It's tier from S to D, S, A, B, C, D, and we will be ranking those pilots by their strengths.
Yeah, just for those who perhaps didn't know, or this is the first time to encounter such the ranking, as a generally really, really good, like anything what is kind of broken, what is, or kind of an auto-include, what is basically the go-to pilot that's S. A is really good. You can place really well with it. It's generally considered really solid. B is solid. It's usable, but you need more skill to out. Generally weaker. You can, if you are skilled with it, you can place well. Then C is situational. It's only good in certain combinations or really specialized skill and really specialized squads. And D is basically unusable,
not worth the time.
Really, really hard to justify.
Yeah. For those who listens to our podcast, we'll be releasing a video version with the ranking itself. You can see it on Spotify for sure, and maybe we'll release it on YouTube.
So we will start with separatist. So you can start.
Okay, the first one will be our scene in the fire spray. I'll put it in B for now, because we'll discuss her or them. I don't know the gender of this pilot. And
it's a she, I think.
She, okay. It's a fire spray patrol ship. And what's the most important of this pilot is she has a force charge with a recurring symbol. And the title says Bane of the Jedi. The ability reads: before you engage, you may spend one force to choose two enemy ships at range 1 to 0. Transfer any number of orange and red tokens between those two ships. So the ability is pretty situational. I don't think you can play from it or rely on it too much.
I think for separatists, if or let's say, I think separatists could be the faction with where this ability is the most useful, perhaps aside from Scum, because you have many ways, for example, to get strains. That's at least where I would use them. We have another list prepared after this segment. Whereas the idea is basically you hand out strain and you can shuffle it to the ship you want to focus fire. But I agree, it's situation.
Yeah, but you're choosing two enemy ships, so
yeah,
it relies on the opponent actions. So if
if
there is no like jams or maybe disarms, stresses, the ability is just blank.
Yeah, you need to have strains or stress there. Yeah, that's the most use case where I see the ability to shuffle the strain where if there is a strain, for example, to treacherous, or to the other new pilot which comes with this pack. If it's still there, you can better focus fire if you use ability.
Yeah, and having a force and initiative of 4, it has a great addition to the chassis. And right now in the legacy, our thing costs 77 points. It's still less than Jango Fett, or of course Zem Vessel, and already has a force on board. So you can boost it even more with like Savage Press, for example.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main appeal. The fire spray with a force.
Yeah. Thinking of ranking, I'd say it's at least A tier because of fire spray, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, and the force and the initiative 4. It's a pretty good initiative for fire spray.
Yeah, and I think it's you get basically the force point compared for Django. It's a bit cheaper, and the force point cost. Let me look. It cost
12.
Yeah, let's say 10 points, 9 points with additional points for compared to the generic for being I4, which is actually on the cheap side because most force crews in Legacy now cost upwards of 10 points.
Yeah, and Separatist has only 3 options: it's Savage Press, Count Dooku, and Chancellor Palpatine for 12, 14, and 15 points.
Yeah, and in that way, it's probably the cheapest way to get force on a ship in Separatist.
Yeah, so let's put her to A tier.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one.
Yeah, then then we come to Eddie Galia. The subtitle reads Shooting Star. The ability is while you defend at attack range 1, you may spend 1 force. If you do, the attacker cannot apply the range bonus. While you perform it, and another part is while you perform an attack against a defender at attack range 2, you may spend 1 force. If you do, the defender cannot apply the range bonus. And it has fine-tuned controls. After you fully execute a maneuver, you spend a force to perform a boost or barrel roll. It's I5 and has 2 force, and it's easy sprite.
Yeah, so we get that it's Delta 7, Initiative 5, 2 force. But what does the ability do? Because there is a lot of words, and I didn't remember any of it.
No worry. It's okay. It's basically the Inquisitor's ability.
If pretty similar. Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, Grand Inquisitor. If I defend and I'm range 1, I can deny the range bonus in range 1 and the opponent, and I can deny the range bonus at defense at range 3 for the opponent, and I would place it at A because I have a double position. It only has 2 force. Granted, OB at 3 points more has 3 force. Oh, we should say the pilot cost. It costs 45 pilots. Sorry.
45 points at right now.
Points.
Yeah, so
right now.
February 24th.
Yeah, February 24th.
And
what do you think?
It's funny how you say it. She has only 2 force. Oh my god, the other factions are crying right now. Only 2.
Only 2, yeah. I mean...
let's compare her to other Delta pilots.
Yeah.
For the cost. So she costs the same amount of points as Plo Koon with also 2 force points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 2 force points.
Yeah, and more or less support ability.
Yeah. And a really restricted. I don't think it's a bad ability, but you have to consciously pack it in a list where it's useful.
Yeah, and Mace Windu is a little bit cheaper with 3 force points. Good force efficiency. Initiative 4.
Yeah, 44.
Yeah, so if I consider taking Initiative 5 Delta 7, of course I will look at Obi-Wan Kenobi, and for the second one I would pick Eddie Galia instead of Plo Koon.
Yeah, I think me too. The bigger benefit it's even in a way to Obi. Obi has a really good is a supporter too and has a really good action economy. But for example, if I get 4 dice thrown at me, even double modded, as high chance damage goes through that. So I think Galia has a good niche in the sense that it's very defensible, basically.
Yeah. And maybe you can equip it with patience and try to tank some shots.
Yeah.
If you need to.
I think it's like you said, it's like a bit of the tank of the Ether sprites.
Yeah.
And those pot shot hit a bit likelier.
So let's continue to the separatists. We have Dirge in the Rogue class starfighter. So he is Initiative 5, the one and only on the chassis. His title says, on his own time. You'll get more knowing his ability. So it reads, when you would be destroyed, you may spend one charge to reveal all your face down damage cards. If you do, discard each direct hit and each of your damaged card with the pilot trait. Then repair all of your face up damage cards. So basically, when Dirge is destroyed, would be destroyed, you expose all cards and get rid of direct hits and pilot crits, and only ship crits remains on the Dirge. And with that, if he has enough pilot crits on them, he will like remain with 3 who left, for example.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And
yeah,
meaning that he's initiative 5, he can do damage on his high initiative with proton cannons, for example, tank a lot of shots, even survive, or
and he has that to rights ability, which is really nice on I5.
Yeah, so the thing is, if your opponent commits to destroying Dirge and Dirge survives without using his ability, the opponent is in a bad shape right now, in a bad state of the damage race, because when he commits another round of killing Dirge, Dirge just survives another one with his ability.
Yeah, he can survive. Yeah, he can survive. And what's also a really nice upgrade card on him is General Curious. Just I think, yeah. So that basically he dies, he is destroyed, and if it already triggers, you get the charge back.
Yeah, right. But it costs a lot. It's 6 points for Grievous because of the title.
5 points.
5 points.
But on the other hand, the title gives you the bomb and
device slot. So if
device slot, device slot, and the cloak.
Yeah. So he can be a really like dangerous bait for sure.
Yeah.
If I would put them also in A only because of the chassis, because the chassis could not reposition without stress generally. All its
only
repositions, primaries 2 dice, red repositions, most of them linked, which is good, but it has like forward and bank blue maneuvers. So once it's stressed, you can expect it to turn for 2 rounds.
Yeah, I played with that's actually the ship I played 5 times or 6 times. 2 times Dirge, and yeah, that's definitely one of the weaknesses. You want to reposition, especially even more so for him, because you want to trigger that twice, but then you can't turn.
Yeah, I played a lot of this ship, and the most important thing is it cannot fly like an ace, like picking his position before enemy engages with him, because every time he repositions he gains stress, and after stress he is predictable where he will go, and only the cloak could help him in this situation.
And at 42 points, like we said, it's like was thinking, I think it's not a bad ship. But for S, if you want to have, we want to have it at S, it should, for this price, should have like perhaps a 3 dice bullseye, because for 42 points that's an X-wing. Of course, this pilot, I would say, is better than a generic X-wing,
Of course, yeah.
some of the lesser played X-wings. But yeah, it's the same price range where you get normally a 3 attack dice gun, and that's a big point.
Yeah, but it has a lot of hull, so 7 hit points. It's a lot. Yeah, definitely not S, but A. Let's continue to the next one.
Oh, just one thing. I think there are 2 dirges. I think it's also the better one. The other scum one.
Oh yeah. He is also tanky, but not that tanky.
Yeah, it's not really reliable. He's reliably tanky.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we can go Guyvin Stacks. It's an N1 pilot. While you defend or perform an attack, if the speed of your wheeled maneuver is greater than the enemy ships, you may reroll your plank result. I would say it's a B, a better B, but the thing is, to get to A, for example, in the ship, I would say Rick is an A, because you get a whole more dice, which is generally better, but yeah, and you don't have to fly as fast. I think here, yeah, and another thing is, it's only in E3. It costs less. It's actually just 33 points opposed to 44. So Wick is 11 points more. But yeah, you get the NA5, you get the better ability. But yeah, the pros, I would say, is that it has a better floor, because you get a modification and not just a dice. At least you don't have as many planks, hopefully, and it triggers on munitions.
Yeah, Bravo 6. In my opinion, I would place him in C. Because reasons. So initiative 3, he will like suffer a lot from high initiative ships. He modifies only blank results on his defense or attack, right? So he won't get a lot of mods for other things. So if he is initiative 3, he most likely will lose his focus before he gets to shoot.
Yeah, that's an issue.
If he just target locks with his ability, which is not so reliable because of his low initiative, yeah, he, even with blank rerolls on his greens, most likely he would die before he can shoot.
Yeah,
so, but and you want to like put some munitions on him to reroll blanks. So you need more dice to roll more blanks, so you could reroll them, and you are adding a price point.
But it's also, yeah, I think that's all good points. I think I was originally thinking of B because of the price point. Like, it's in E3, but it's also an N1, which, yes, is kind of awkward, but especially because you have to always fly fast like a defender, but you can turn. But on the other hand, for 33 points, if you want to shoot him down, I think you have to spend relatively much effort compared to what you get.
But yeah, he has to fly fast. It's also
that's the issue.
Yeah, and it's really easy to catch him off guard on the initial like engagement to fly fast also. Yeah.
On the other hand, I think he has a role, for example, for advanced proton torpedoes. Because you want to fly fast, you are reasonably defensive. And a role I could see is basically Alpha Strike. Fly fast onto the enemy, drop the munitions.
But he's also an I3.
Yeah, that's the issue.
And to perform a munition shot after K-turn Talon roll, he has to save his target lock beforehand. And without much support, he's like really hard to execute his ability right.
Yeah, the thing is actually with I think on the other hand you can make him work. Or the lock is easier, for example, with other pilot. Yeah, on its own. Yeah, perhaps I think you convinced me open for C tier. Yeah, probably more in specific cases. I think you can build around it. There are with Siege of Coruscant, there are some nice pilots. For example, Jack. Jack is only for him, but
he's not a solid piece. He needs support from other list.
Yeah. So C is probably more accurate. Yeah. And we didn't see N1s aside from Rick being popular before, so.
Yeah, I had experience playing against Padme, and she can really be mean, especially with the Luminara Undulu, if I remember it right, who can change hit to a focus when somebody attacks. Yeah. And with Padme, they work great.
Yeah, I played against it too. It's a really mean piece.
Yeah, really disturbing. Okay, the next one will be the Kilroda AI holdout. So it's meatbags who operate vultures, and if I remember it right, they operate them at the Battle of Kilroda.
Yeah, I hopefully I'm not mistaken, but I think it's like separatist holdout. It's in the from the Tarkin novel, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. Yeah, and since meatbags are inside, this vulture can bear a roll into red focus. That's the biggest change of this ship.
But it also has the droid point still in there.
Yes. So it has access to calculate. And
and I don't think I'm unsure if lore-wise they are in the thing. I think it's more they are operated remotely by organics, but I'm not 100% sure.
We will let our listeners to tell us if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Join our Discord. We have dedicated channel for
we would love to hear from you if we were wrong. All right.
Yeah.
That was nice to know.
The title reads Separatist Stalwart, and the ability, after you are destroyed, you may transfer each of your locks and green tokens to another Kilroder AA holdout at range 0 to 3. So if one of them dies, he transfers locks and green tokens to another friend. And this pilot doesn't have network calculations chassis ability, and instead it's modified for organics. This ship is not affected by standardized restriction, so if you equip independent calculations to other vultures, these Kilroder AA holdouts doesn't affected by it. And the other part of modified for organics is reduce the difficulty of your speed 2 and 3 bank maneuvers and increase the difficulty of your speed 3 turn maneuvers. So basically 2 bank becomes blue and 3 bank becomes white, and then speed and speed 3 becomes blue.
Yeah, I mean, as they are squishy organics inside, they can't hold the G-forces as well.
I increase the difficulty, so 3 turn becomes red. Yeah, but they operate banks better. So the thing with droids, mostly all droid ships, that they do bank maneuvers badly. So it's most common to have only one white bank maneuver for droid chassis. Yeah, so there's 3 of them, Initiative 2, with access to focus. I haven't played them, but I think they are not better than B tier.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they are C tier, but
yeah, they don't fit into droid swarms because they don't have like network calculation.
Yeah,
and as I see them is like mini pack of 3 ships. So if you have room for like couple or 3 vultures, you just get them and use their focus ability for better defense or better offense, and you can spread them out because their ability works on range 3. Yes, they don't need to fly in formation.
Yeah.
So maybe B.
Yeah, I think for A, like for droids, for example, I would say, just as a comparison, I would put DFS 311 in A, as it fits in any list, I think, because it can share the calculate. It can be on its own, standalone, has a really good range, can just stand there and share calculate.
Yeah, even if you take like independent calculations and an energetic shell charges, it can be like a calculate sharer and also a threat at the same time.
Yeah, and it can, if it's in only on itself and you have meatbags in the other as the other ship, you can take independent calculation and have one to share and then one to use on the rocket or on Discord droids.
Yeah.
And the disadvantage with the new pilots, I think, is that you want to take 3, but then it's 66 points.
Yeah.
And it's harder to find the room for it.
Yeah, I think their efficiency is yet to be like found. But but I guess they are higher than C because of the focus and the better maneuverability, even though it has 3 turn red.
I mean, we apparently, or as it seems, the Italian community is really nice on big legacy tournaments. The last one, didn't, unfortunately, don't have any supporters, but perhaps the next will, and we will see, hopefully, perhaps some appearances and can judge them by tournament results.
Yeah, I hope so. Big shout out to Italy community.
Absolutely, it's amazing.
Okay, we settled them with Kilrodo AA holdouts.
Yep. Then comes Sicko. I've played Sicko, I think 1 or 2 times. I really like this pilot.
Tell us what he pilots.
Yeah. It says it's in that. After you execute a basic maneuver, you may assign the sickening maneuver condition to yourself. And the condition says, that it's basically, it triggers every 2 rounds. And Sicko is INI 2. And it says after you can execute red maneuvers even while you are stressed, which is really nice. And so just so it works, you do a basic maneuver and then you decide, do I want the condition for next turn, or don't you want it, which is really have a really big amount of flexibility. And when you assign it, you can execute red maneuvers even while stressed. After you wheel a bank or a turn maneuver, you must gain 1 strain and execute the maneuver as a side slip, which is really nice. After you wheel 1 straight maneuver, you must execute that maneuver as a red Colquan turn. And after you execute a maneuver, remove this condition, and you have to recharge it by doing a basic maneuver next turn.
Yeah, so basically this condition works similar to repulsor lift stabilizers for HMP droid gunships. So you assign this condition, and next turn your turn and bank maneuvers are side slips, but with strain, and forward are Kyogre turns.
Yeah, the utility for the strain isn't really that much of a deal, isn't lead. Who cares if you get the 1 dice or not? And it's really nice for I think 2 main purposes. The lad is a supporter, and that means, especially with this ability, you want to be behind your list, not too exposed, but also want to be close enough to your list that you can support them. With the ability, pile convergence, where you need an attacker in your arc or a defender. When another ship attacks, the defender needs to be in your arc, so you want to be too far away. And with the side slip, you can really do that nicely, because you can just side slip and stay close to your ships. You can also move out of the way better. A bit of mini arc dodging. You are not so predictable. You can also go before rocks and just side slip afterwards.
Yeah,
which is also nice to get a bit of defense.
Classic HMP maneuver.
Yep, you can do it with him too. So I would say it's A. Not by itself, but or let's say the ship by itself is not. I would not say A, but of course it's a supporter, so you have to justify it. But what judge it by what can it do in the rest of for your list? And I think that he is really a supporter. He really shines as that.
So
what do you think?
So so A ship is a pretty solid piece of your list. So you're saying that if you like planning of taking LAT, you should pick CISGAR?
Actually, yes. I think the only pilots that come close in specific squads is, of course, Warthog. But it's also 3 points more. You need non-limited ships. He's a good ship, but I think for our purposes, actually, I think CISGAR fits more A because you don't really need to build around him. If you want to have a lot, he works in most lists, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and Republic has pretty nice range of crew and gunners. And
yeah,
and
that's
I
also
believe and I believe that they have fives as as a crew, which really works great on low initiative ships. Because fives says after you perform an attack that misses, if the defender's initiative is equal or greater than your initiative, place 1 evade or focus token on this card. And before you engage, you may remove 1 token from this card to gain 1 mentioned token. So it can really boost its attack.
Yeah, like if you miss, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Not too of because you don't with the lot, you especially with this pilot, you don't really expect to hit. It's a nice bonus, but yeah, you can prepare if you for the time when you get into range 1, perhaps when you side slip into range 1, to build up your token, and then hit harder.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I've flown CISGAR with 5s and Cody, which is also nice. It's doubling down. I love this combination. Like, if I don't miss, nice, I get a token and you get a strain.
Yeah, that's great.
Assuming you canceled 1 result, but most likely you did.
Okay. I'm not truly into A, fully truly, because it's still a lot. It costs a lot of points. It needs for the rest of the list to perform good.
Yeah, that's the thing with the support ship.
I'm just wondering, could a support ship be A tier?
I would say yes. I think that's a bit better of a definition what you want, how you define A. I think, or how you look at it. I think if you just take a ship in itself, probably it's very hard.
I think that ASA ships need to be good without the rest of the lists, because if the CISGAR is the last alive ship of your list, most probably he will die. Yeah, everything happens, but on the average, it won't perform good. And I think that lot place is in B.
Yeah, probably it's and we don't really. The thing is, we don't really have any tournament data to back it up.
Yeah.
So
B is solid.
And B is solid. Yeah. Probably if in the next tournaments he will show up, and then and we see it. Perhaps we get feedback. We see it in the local in our Discord monthly league. If you like TDS and want to play Legacy, go to our Discord. We have a constantly running league since 1 year without pause. That's a good place.
Yeah, I'm playing this. I'm playing this league since August or July maybe. Yeah, it's fun. I try a lot of different lists.
Yeah, and it's really casual. Just on a small tangent, it's really new player friendly. If you are a new player, want to know what Legacy is, it's a really good place.
Yeah, and only one game per week.
Yeah, it's manageable.
Yeah, and also you get to speak to people from all around the world.
Like, and some really good players.
Yeah. On the Sunday, I will be playing from a player from Peru.
Yeah,
it's 9-hour difference between us.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, probably I think if we get more feedback from there and he really rocks, I would say A, but yeah, probably like you said, as a support chip until we have actual tournament results of where we could be is probably more accurate.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, the next one for the Separatist is the Iron Assembler. I really like the name of this pilot. It sounds really cool.
And while we're on aesthetics, I love the art. Was the eye that has a lens flare?
Yeah,
it really fits.
Yeah. So basically, it's an Initiative 1 Vulture Droid fighter with the title says Scintilla Scavenger. And it's more or less support Vulture. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 skips its execute maneuver step, you may spend 1 charge. So basically, it aims on the vultures that sit on the rocks and debris clouds with grappling struts.
Basically, you want to have 2 on it, him and another, and just camp there.
Yeah, or you can be just near it. If you spend 1 charge, if there is an asteroid or debris cloud at range 0 of a friendly ship, that ship may repair 1 damage. So most probably the Iron Assembler should be on the obstacle with his friend, because range 1 doesn't appear out of nowhere. Most probably after this first engagement, and if you are not on the rock, most probably you will be like somewhere forward. Yeah,
and it's really hard to get the condition on another ship. It's basically ionization is the only way. What? No, you get assigned. You don't skip, you get assigned. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So basically, sitting on the rocks is the only way to trigger it.
Yeah, I think
if I'm not mistaken,
the text on this card is the future proof, as I can see.
Yep. Yeah, would be a bit of broken if it just says any chip. You can repair any chip.
Yeah.
Then that would be S.
Yeah. So the Iron Assembler costs 1 point more than the regular Trade Federation drone. It's Initiative 1. Yeah, 22. So it's a great addition to this swarm at the cost of only 1 point, and there is no there is only one other options that you can take as Har-Chal prototype.
Or any 3.
3?
The generic.
No, Separatist drone is Initiative 3, and you don't want to mix Initiative.
No, sorry, I thought on towards the points level. But
yes, so you can take it to Initiative 3 swarms also, I guess, but then you'll have a hard time managing the swarm at different initiative, and the Iron Assembler should be at the front, and then he'll be targeted and he'll die without using his ability.
Yeah, and it's I think it's really nice. We already mentioned DS FS311. That's a really nice pair too. If you don't want to play a Swarm, you can. It's basically you can have them both on a walk, and yeah, here you have the calculate battery, and if the calculate battery gets hits, you can repair it.
Yeah, and also he can repair himself.
Yeah,
which is also good. So actually, when I think about it right now, he can be like the replacement for DFS 311 with the same configuration, like Discord missile or energy shell charges and independent calculations. And he can sit on a rock, create a threat, and if you don't kill him in one shot, you spend too much shooting on a vulture. And if you then switch to another target, he just gets repaired the next turn.
Yeah, and if you trigger it one time, and you waste 3 or 2 or even 3 good modified shots on him, he is well worth his points.
Yeah, maybe I will try him someday in this role. Yeah, I can decide what would I put him in. So A or B.
I would say A.
Yeah, yeah, maybe if you take DFS 311, he draws a lot of attention, and opponent often tries to kill him, like at the best chance possible. Maybe Iron Assembler will draw less attention, and then he can act as a blocker more efficient than DFS 311.
Yeah,
because of this.
And you have a really nice in a form of like disengage. If he is damaged, you can try to draw him out of the fight behind an obstacle, wait one turn, get or because you can turn perhaps even 2,
and while
get him up.
Yeah, and while he's repairing on that obstacle, he can rotate and reload energy shell charges.
Yeah, and then just go back in the fight.
Yeah, as a pocket mini droid, I guess he's fun. I would like to see him in A, maybe.
Yeah.
But the one thing that kind of stops me is that it's a vulture, and you can kill it in one shot very easily.
But on the other hand, it's vulture. It's 22 points.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think if we say A is a slotting into any list, and you feel good with it, and you can place well without too much training.
Yeah. Okay, let's give it an A.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Then we come to the next pilot, a Torrent. It's I1. It's Slammer. It's blue 3. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may spend 2 charges to perform boost, not boost, slam action, even while stressed. I played a lot of K-Wings, which, on a side note, I think are a bit too costly, but it's another thing. And I played Slammer one time too. He couldn't. Yeah, unfortunately, this when I played him, he couldn't really use. Yeah, he did get one nice block in. I think. And he has 2 reloading charges. Yeah, 2 recharging charges, and yeah, you need to spend 2 charges to perform a slam action. So every second turn he triggers. He is cheap at 24 points. It's the cheapest torrent there is.
He is even cheaper than the generic.
Yeah, the generic I2 Gold Squadron is 25. So I would say it's B, simply because for A it's a torrent. There's the same argument to be made in a way what we did just with Iron Assembler. But I think the repairing ability is better than the slamming.
Yeah, and Vultures have more superior dial.
Yeah, I mean he has 2 more heads, and the nice thing is he can, in contrast to, for example, K-Wings. Yeah, I mean K-Wings can equip the one upgrade where you can do a lock after it, but here you can just do any action after you've done the slam, which is really nice. But yeah,
but you're disarmed.
Yeah, that's a problem which I think is which I experienced with K-Wing 2 with him when I played him too. I think yeah, that's always a problem. You are disarmed, you can have a nice block, but you can't shoot then.
Yeah.
And that's 24 points of your list doing nothing. And you can even bomb.
Yeah.
Like K-Wings.
Yeah, and so reposition of a torrent leads to evade, not a focus, or not a calculator as on Vultures.
Yeah, and yeah, that's another yeah, that's a problem. And Iron Assembler to make the comp is 2 points cheaper. I think he's still good. He's still not a bad pilot. But you can, if you have 24 points, it's probably one of the best things you can do if you don't need any upgrades on other ships for Republic. But yeah,
yeah, I agree with you on the B.
But outside the faction, I think there are better alternatives. Inside the faction, it's a solid B. Outside, a bit lower, but I don't think a C.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's B. Like he's a solid blocker for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that Republic as a faction doesn't have many options for that role, like Merle for the Republic resistance and other things like that.
You don't have cheap double position blockers. Yeah, this kind of double position. Yeah, the big thing holding it back is that in order to get the pseudo double position, you can shoot after it.
Yeah, this ship like opens more list archetypes for Republic, I think.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I think
and Republic has ways to remove like disarmers.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
This is just because of the it's still one combination, but yeah, actually with Plocon, that's basically that's a really nice match, I think.
Yeah. So let's move.
You can do while you, for example, could it justify an region droid on Plocon, because I think you get the disarm.
Oh yeah. Yes. That's true.
If you repair a card, get a disarm, or have an action, so your shot isn't great, have patience, so you do recharge the force. You doesn't really hit, and then take it off from Slammer, who will hopefully be in range 1 to another ship.
Yeah, that's an option for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, so solid B, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, B. Let's move to the separatist. We have Volandas. Volandas is a new tri-fighter pilot. He operates modified tri-fighter because he's an organic. And his title says Impatient Invader with Initiative 5. He has the same chassis ability as Killrod Holdout, modified for organics, which reduces the difficulty of his bank speed 2 and 3 maneuvers, and increases the difficulty of speed 3 turns. His ability reads, after you fully execute a red maneuver, you may choose an enemy ship at range 1. The chosen ship gains 1 stress token, and you may remove 1 stress token. So his ability is really neat. I played Volandas one time, but he died before he could execute his ability. Yeah, he did like 2 or 3 red maneuvers, had no ships in his arc at range 1. Yeah.
That's...
Yeah, not even arc, just range 1. And at least he fired a couple times.
Yeah.
Before that.
At least.
Yeah.
At least you didn't get one-shotted.
Yeah. And he also has a focus instead of a calculate, which with reposition into focus and evade gives him a good like ace roll. So his damage output is consistent because he has focus. He has initiative 5. He has like access to interceptor boosters.
Just say the points perhaps. So.
Yeah, and he costs 40 points, which so I'm just checking up the other droids. He costs 40, and it's like 2 or 1 point more than other droids. Yeah, so he's relatively cheap to the chassis, which makes him a great pocket ace.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him too. I think with that and the Siege of Constant Pilots, I like Tri-Fighter is one of my favorite Star Wars designs. Actually, I love the design.
Oh, me too.
Favorite. The Battle of Coruscant is also my favorite battle in all of Star Wars. And yeah, so I really liked that with Siege of Coruscant and this pilot. I think the Tries gained some really strong options.
I am a bit of underwhelmed that the card doesn't show the modified Tri-Fighter which Volandas flew in the comics.
Okay.
Yeah, he had like a white modified Starfighter, and it has the different form. So and
white.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yes, and on the card there's just regular Tri-Fighters.
Yeah, I think I really like the I think it's really good because like you said it's 40 points. Also, I think there are some strong contenders like the new Siege of Coruscant prototype, which is also nice.
Yeah, they are good.
I played 6 times with it. It's one. I didn't have a single loss. It's so good. I love it. Yeah, I think the argument is what you want. The plug arc functions better in void lists and is more resistant to bumping. He is more of a traditional ace.
Yeah, and I would put him into A, mostly because of his maneuvers. Because when you are stressed, and from my experience of playing TIE fighters, if you're stressed, you have only turn options, so no banks, no blue banks, and it really closes the dial, because I had too many times to turn away from my opponent just to shed the stress.
Yeah. At some point you want to turn, and then it's bad, especially for him, because he can't get like the other one, the Flak Arc prototype. He can't get action twice stressed, because with the other one, at least if I'm having someone in bullseye, I get a calculate and actually a quite good attack with Predator on it, but he doesn't have that luxury.
Yeah, but I was talking about that the next turn, when he's stressed, and for example, he just repositioned and didn't use his ability, so he has the stress, and next turn he can more easily shed the stress and be on target as well, because regular droid TIE fighters, they have only hard turns blue, and a lot of time they just turn away from the fight to get rid of the stress.
Yeah. And the opponent gets a strain, which is also nice.
Yeah. Stress.
No, the chosen gains one stress. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, stress.
Yeah, I would put him in A. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, that's the first pilot I would. He isn't broken, but he is such a good pilot. Or if if I have 40 points in my list, between either I would always think about him or the Flak.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm actually on the cusp of saying S, but
S.
I'm not. I don't think we can. Again, we have too few data to make S.
What the? I wouldn't put him in S because he has no double reposition.
That's true.
Yeah, he has
I said on the cusp. I mean, more of all the pilots we talked about, that is, I think, the closest I would say to S.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they are too fragile.
Yeah.
So even if you're flying Suntier and you get into some tricky situations, you have auto thrusters, which can get you out of many situations. Even if you lost a shot, you're safe.
Yeah. You're right. A is probably a really nice spot for him.
Okay, and we have the last one.
Yeah, the last one, the actually worst, in my opinion. A friend of mine said, let's say, like, all the pilots for Hotshots and Aces are really good or usable. And then there is Kid Fisto. I actually would put him in D. Like, he before let's start to the card. Sorry. It has an Ep4. While another ship, it's an ETA 2. While another friendly ship defends, if the attacker is in its bullseye, you may spend one force to change one of the defender's flank result to a focus result. And yeah, and he costs, I think, let me see, 2 more points than Jedi General, who is also an Ep4. So we are not paying for the initiative, first point. Then it's only, you don't get another force, and then the ability. It doesn't work on himself, like I noted a bit. The steps you have to do, it's like 3 or 4 steps requirements. Like it doesn't work on himself, and another ship, friendly ship, needs to defend, and then the attacker needs to be in its bullseye. So we already have 3 requirements, and then you spend a force on a ship which needs the force for its turnaround, for its lock, and for its ability. And all you're getting is that the defender plank result, you can change a plank result from the defender to a focus, which is nice if it would be like no requirement and only that.
But I guess it really synergizes with Delta 7 calibrated laser targeting configuration, because you want always to have your enemies in bullseye.
That's the only saving grace.
Yeah, and Kit Fisto supports their survivability, and the best part is that his ability works at any range.
I mean, yeah, that's but the thing where I'm really the problem for me is you only get an focus, which synergizes with like is not bad, but that means you have the ship does need to have and spend another resource. And I think it's probably good.
Jedi has force. They have a lot of resources.
That's true. But I'm probably C tier. I don't think he's B. Probably not D, because like you said, it synergizes with Aces Pride.
Yeah, maybe C then.
Yeah, probably D is too harsh, but the problem, the thing is, for 2 more points, I get, for example, Shakti. For 2 more points, sorry, for 50. Because Kurt Fisto is 43, and for 2 more points, I get Shakti or Yoda. And for 2 more points, I would, unless I'm really, really, really stuffed, take, for example, Shakti, who's also enhancing the defensive.
Yeah, because of Kit Fisto, he works on certain ships, certain archetypes.
Yeah, probably CD is too harsh, but I think Shakti works on all archetypes in a way too.
Yeah, and most players just use Shakti on herself.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think he would have been it would have been a better design to design him if it's himself too.
Yeah, maybe yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can, like you said, make him work in a really, really specific Ether sprite list, but then at that point, most likely I want it's him and 3 Ether sprites or Ether sprites only.
Even if he could to use his ability on himself, he would have to spend 2 force or force in the focus for it to work.
Yeah,
and it's a lot. It doesn't worth it.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's a force on Eta who need force everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
his ability, I guess, it's It's similar to Barry's Offie on Delta 7, I guess.
Okay.
Who works on attack?
You mentioned.
It's like
Yeah, but
it
I think
works
it's
on
better.
defense, but from attacker's point.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Shakti is in a way better. It's only one more point than a generic, which means I think Kid Fistu could come down 1 point because it's not really so much better than a generic.
Yeah, I think so.
Perhaps even the same cost, but that's a stretch. But I think 1 point. But and also always we would love to hear feedback from the legacy player base. Do you think I am being here too generous or completely wrong? We would love to hear that.
Yeah. We will post a link to this ranking template for you to make your own rankings with these pilots. And please do share them with us in our Discord server in Droid Pit channel.
Yeah. And again, if you think we are wrong, say it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the thing for Bowis is that the thing is it automatically triggers. You don't need an additional resource.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like from a plank, but at least you spend the force and then it's a hit.
Yeah.
And it's 1 point more than the generic. But yeah, C tier probably is the white space.
Yeah, okay. We are done with the ranking. None of the ships made it to the S tier, but surprisingly, 5 pilots made it to A.
Yeah, it's actually looking at it, I think it's a really good pack. I think I haven't seen too much. Yeah, I think that there's definitely potential for more plays from this pack.
Yeah, and I heard that as myself, a lot of players don't play something that is not in their collection, and since not many legacy players bought this pack, we're not seeing a lot of them in the monthly legacy league, for example. But I hope to see more of them in the Italy tournaments.
Yeah, I think like we said, and we will go further with list building shortly. It enhances some new strategies, some new archetypes, and some new combos that weren't there, like the two droids, Slammer as a dedicated support piece with Blow. Yeah. So I think there's definitely merit. Okay, do we want to go to the next section?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so then we come to the next section. All what we talked about now was in the standard mode, formerly extended. Now we change it to standard to make it a bit less confusing for new players coming from 2.5 to know what the tournament mode is. For them extended, a new player, it's probably not what they can't really, probably they think it's a non-tournament mode because that's how it's in 2.5. So we named it to standard. But we are right now in the process of making a new mode. Just 2 minutes and we come to the actual segment, because I have seen some players asking what it is. This mode is casual only. The main idea is to port to marry scenarios with the good dogfighting and the good point system 2.0 has, and to to integrate some scenarios into it. There of course it's casual, it's optional. We know that a lot of our player base probably just want to play dogfight. We of course are continuing. This is our main. It's still our main format. It's not going anywhere. It still has support, so worry not. But maybe some people are out there who think I like scenarios and I like the 2.0s and point system. That is the mode that's right now in development for this demographic, and we hope it will make the player base bigger and the overall community help it grow.
And the name for this mode is Wild Space.
Wild Space. Yeah, it's a new wild concept.
Yeah.
Introduced in 2.0. So more news will come out as we develop. For March, we will have the initial release. More news will probably follow what it entails, and what it's relatively sure, and that's why we're asking now, and we were asking before, is that we increase the point scale. One of the defining features that are set is that it will include the full standard loadouts. We have right now the pilot version, and this mode will have the pilot version and the overall card, both available. And it will have 250 points. That's, for example, it's important for scenarios to, for example, to get a bit more equipment and so on. Yeah, but that's not the topic right now. The topic is 250 point list and what perhaps nice thing you can do with it.
Yeah, I have on the screen a list for Grand Army of Republic. Deb, you made it, right?
Yeah. Give me a sec. So wait, just read it. Perhaps introduce the list. I will talk.
Okay. It's Naboo Royal 1 and 1 Starfighter with Gavin Sykes from Hotshots Aces II. He's equipped with fire control system and advanced proton torpedoes. As a support piece, there's Seiko with SIG maneuvers, equipped with fives, Clone Commander Coyote. The rest of the list is 2 Torrents. It's Kickback from Siege of Coruscant and Slammer from Hotshots and Aces. Kickback is upgraded with concussion missiles and Slammer is empty. Also, there is Eddie Gallia on Delta 7 with calibrated laser targeting, and Contrail in V-Wing with elusive Alpha 3B Bash configuration and corner nets. And Contrail is also from Siege of Coruscant.
Yeah. So the idea was a salad list. The idea is to have basically something of everything. Now that we have 250 points, and from what we have done in testing and what we are seeing, it's you can equip a bit more. Of course, you can have more chips, but you can have a bit more equipment. Of course, not 2.5 levels of equipment, but yeah, probably a bit more than in the 200 point mods. And the idea of the list is that, like I said, you have your blocker with Slammer, and you have your blocker, and with Sicko, with the combination I said earlier, you have a debuffer and a good support chip. So yeah, you have a support chip. Adi Gilia I chose actually, not only because we want to highlight the new pilots here, but I think it really fits better than the other pilots in the list, as she is with calibrated laser targeting one of the main damage dealers, and needs to survive. And so, like we said earlier, it's a real good pilot for that. Then I like Kickback because I think it's actually one of the best torrents, at least standalone. I think the other torrents as a generic farm have value, but he's the best one for missiles, I think. As you can in E5, you have one hull more, and yeah, you can reposition and then get your lock relatively safe. Yeah, then I have had Contrail. I chose the stock version because the bond for this ability I think is nice for if you have some expensive pilots you don't want to see die. For example, I could imagine Contrail and Kickback being near Adi, and if there is a focus, if there's a focus open, because perhaps Kickback got arc dodged, which shouldn't happen too often, but at least he can get the focus if he has one to Adi and really make her survivable. Same with Contrail. Yeah, that was the idea. And Garvin in this list is more like an Alpha Strike. Like we see, for me, probably I'm ranking it a bit better than Soji, but yeah, for me, I think that's a combination I talked about. I think he's really nice as a flanker to get in there, deliver the advanced proton torpedoes, and then yeah, just be there and be annoying.
Yeah, and I want to add to your monologue that this wild space mode lets you field more ships, but only in the regular restrictions. Like 8 ships is still max.
Yeah, that's important. We talked about having it up to 9, but probably too many balance issues. Who knows?
Yeah, the whole X-wing is balanced around 200 points, and even reaching out to 250 is a like interesting place, but it's more safer than increasing like ship count restriction.
Yeah. I think it's we will also are working on, of course, a time, a standardized time. So while it's casual, the idea is that we still trying to balance it. We still try to, with, for example, a time limit, have it in a way where you can basically play it as if it would be a tournament mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find a lot of new, not new players, but like kitchen table players who doesn't participate in community life, who doesn't go to tournaments. A lot of such players play without time limit, and because there is no time limit in the core rules. And if this mode will focus on time limit from the start, from the initial rules, it will help players not to play for 3, 4, 5 hours for one match.
And then wondering, wait, is every game taking so long?
Yeah, from what I've heard, people just try to kill each other 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is a longer time just because scenarios and 250 points. But yeah, at least the rules will include a time limit from the start.
Yeah.
We're trying to have it under 2 hours, just to give a preview. So it's not like epic big.
Yeah. So let's move to the next list.
Yeah.
Okay. Next list for Confederacy of Independent Systems is from Dolce, a community member. He submitted his list in our Discord channel as we asked the community, and I already see his personal touch. He really likes Dirge, and he really likes proton cannons. So the first piece is Dirge with proton cannons and a lot of stuff that helps to execute proton cannons. It's marksmanship that lets do more crits. It's afterburners that lets you reposition and then take a modification like focus or something else without stress. It's contraband cybernetics, maybe to like take a Talon roll and shoot proton cannons with another reposition, for example. Xenad Blood for proximity mines, also a nasty combination. So, who supports Dirge? 3 H&AII holdouts with cluster missiles. Seeing them without any target lock support, I can think of one strategy that Dolce incorporated in this list. We can see what Tambor with Kraken, Treacherous, and staple of this chassis, Imperium Plating and Solus Man.
Yeah.
So he's tanky, he can have rerolls from HMP, Droid Gunship, and Kilroda AI holdouts. And what's the strategy is to preserve calculates on Kilroda with Kraken, and then maybe sacrifice one of them who makes a target lock to enable shot for something else, because they can't share calculates between one another, and it's easier to kill one of them. So you can sacrifice one, and enable a better shot.
And the nice thing is you have, because it's 250 points, it's easier to sacrifice things.
Yeah. And the last ship in this list is DGS 047 HMP Droid Gunship with cluster missiles. It's an I1 who can give strains to enemy ships. It doesn't help the list at instant, but it can like force opponent to fly with blue maneuvers, for example.
Yeah.
And he can get locks easily.
Yeah. I think I like the more I think about it, the more I want to see this Colorado in action. It sounds like such a nice strategy. Like just force something up on the enemy and say attack it, I get my calculates, which I can also transfer, and probably lock with a missile on it.
Yeah, and you can like save calculates to enable Watambor's free rolls, and then fly to the opponent and take red focuses after barrel rolls. So they have focuses for defense or offense and calculates for Watambor.
Yeah, and like you said, they do. Unfortunately, they don't have the. I'm just thinking how. They probably would be A or even S if they would have the the calculated
network calculations.
Network calculation on top. But
yeah.
that's too much probably. I really like the list, and shout out for sending us and participating. It's really
we eager for community feedback.
Yeah, it's always nice to see. Just thinking it's a really expensive dirt.
Yeah, 65, but I guess it's okay. He can revive, and he can.
Yeah, I mean,
he has a lot of tools.
If anyone of ship you want to make, or where you don't feel bad to load it up, it's probably Dirge and in this faction. And there are, I think, from a reliably surviving or tanking standpoint, this ability that Dirge has is really the best.
Yeah,
one of the best kinds.
Yeah, it's like another edge of a blade, because Separatist is all about sacrificing their ships because they are disposable, and Dirge is like the most durable of them.
And I think it fits the old Clone Wars, where he is also the old Clone Wars cartoon, where he's also really resilient.
Yeah. Okay. Deb, you saved for us another list.
Yeah, another Separatist list, another Dirge. I really think we could name the title after the episode. So how, considering how often we brought up Dirge, it's Volandos with Treacherous, Intercept Boosters, and then our thing, which Iron Bombs, Death Device, and Savage Press. And then Dirge with Treacherous, Iron Cannon, Xanadu Blood, Iron Bombs, and General Grievous. And then the pair I talked before about, DFS 311 with Discord Missiles, Independent Calculations, and the Iron Assembler with Independent Calculations. So, just before I got into monologue again, Sergey, what do you think?
For my personal taste, I would spend 2 points of Volandas on Enduring instead of Treacherous, just because it's one of my favorite Ace specific upgrade. Yeah, because there are a lot of times when just one crit disables your Ace, even if it's not dead. It disables it for like several turns, like disabled power regulator, like panicked pilot or something else. And Treacherous is also nice, but it's not so reliable. It's
I can certainly see the argument. I think Treacherous on this probably, like you said, it's more notorious the other way, but Treacherous synergizes, I think, kind of, because you want to be at range or in the fight anyhow.
Yeah. And
more than on other ships here.
Yeah, continuing to our thing, I think that Stealth Device is overkill for her, because 3 dice is not 3 dice and the Force is not a lot to survive, and I would spend that points on offense. I would put Proton Rocket on Volandas, for example.
Yeah, I thought about it. That was the first iteration.
And then you could like switch Discord missiles for energy shield charges, for example, because most of the time DFS 311 stays out of the fight on some asteroid, and energy shield charge creates more threat than Discord missile, because range of Discord missile is very limited and it's obvious where it could land.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actual, yeah, I don't know. I certainly see the argument. I personally like Discord missiles more. One part could be to defend against bigger ships, because that's why I think Discord missiles in this mode could be kind of better, because one of the things 250 points enables, which we will of course watch closely, is that some limits, some breaking points are not there anymore, and especially considering big ships.
Yeah, maybe, but if you want to defend from the big ships, you need more Discord missiles.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was my point, that one Discord missile is worse than energy shield charge.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Maybe if there is room for two, it would be better.
Yeah, probably you could think about switching one iron bomb, and getting the iron assembler another.
Yeah, because iron bomb in this list could be a bad thing, because fire spray will be most probably further away from your main pack, and you have high chance of ironing your own ships.
Yeah, the idea is, on the other hand, with Droid I can be kind of aggressive, and with our thing, if people trail her, at least I can, at least I can slow them down or get them off my tail for a bit.
Yeah. There is room for improvements, but it should be made after some games.
Yeah. But yeah, that's honestly experimenting with the scale. I'm looking forward. Even like we said, it's intended to be mainly casual. I still I hope we will get some interesting lists out of it, and to see in action, which just through the point scale are not possible in 200 point. 200 points list.
So with this list, you straightforwardly added like 2 vultures.
Yeah, that's
for 50 points.
Yeah, in a way that was the attempt. I think the non-Droid list is a good list and a 200 points list, and I added the vulture pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it, what we wanted to discuss today.
Yeah. And I think we are thinking about more of this ranking. We would love to hear if you like it. We would love to feedback. Do we like this ranking? Which thing should we rank is also, which would be totally nice to hear. And of course, any feedback. What do we want to see from the next episode, and what content you want to hear?
Yeah, even you are not interested in such rankings, also let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, we are constantly thinking about what we would like to discuss and what the audience, the community would like to hear about. And
Yeah.
it will be much better than if we communicate together and find the touching points between us podcasters and the community.
Yeah.
And of course,
So
all the links will be in the descriptions of the episode and in our Discord server for Legacy X-Wing.
yeah. And yeah, if there's nothing more to say, do you have anything to say, Soje?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, then we can close it. Thank you for listening for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, see you in next episode.
See you next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.